This particular telling of the story of the Kaaba comes from the Persian mystic Qadi-Sai Kumi, who lived a 52-year cycle, 1639 to 1691, and wrote about the history of the Black Stone, along with numerous chronologies and histories of the Kaaba. Kumi was a Shiite Muslim and a believer of the 12th Imam in the lineage of Muhammad. The symbology of the 12th Imam is woven into the cosmology of the Black Stone. But it is not just the stone that is significant, but also the Kaaba itself, the cube in which it is enshrined. What is the origin of the cube? The 8th Imam said that divine religion will never perish as long as the Kaaba endures. This is because the Kaaba contains the stone that extends back to the original creation, and that stone is believed to have originally been an angel. The cube has 6 sides, 8 corners, and 12 edges. According to Shiite cosmology, the 12 edges represent the 12 Imams. The 8 corners are the 8 supports of the throne, and the 6 sides are the 6 days of creation. Quranic cosmology says that on the day of resurrection, 8 angels will support the throne, an angel at each side of the 8 corners. On the day of resurrection, the 12th Imam will reveal himself, and the cube will be manifest spiritually. Many Shiite Muslims are awaiting the return of the 12th Imam, the final, or the Mahdi, who is believed to be in occultation until the end of time. The Imams trace their descent from Ali, the nephew of Muhammad, who was the first Imam. The 12th Imam remains hidden or occulted until the day of resurrection. His occultation occurred in AD 873, AH 260. AH refers to after Hijrah. There is some echo of the occulted element in the story of Joseph in the Quran. Joseph is the 12th son with 11 brothers. In the most significant part of his story, Joseph remains occulted from his brothers and family until the predestined moment when he reveals himself. Also, Joseph is the title of Surah 12 of the Quran. 12 is the number of the temple, the highest complex number of 13 that consists of multiples 2, 3, 4, and 6. It is a complex harmonic that creates a stasis. This is why +1 is 13, the frequency of the circulation of cosmic time. The tradition of the Imams is the succession and blood lineage of Muhammad. However, all of Muhammad's sons died. Only his daughter Fatima remained. At this time, females were not appointed to this role, so the succession fell to Muhammad's nephew, Ali. Ali was one of the first people to embrace Islam and was very close to Muhammad. Ali was considered the first Imam in this tradition. In the tradition of the 12 Imams, +1, 13 is Fatima, the female principal, while the 14 is Muhammad. In that tradition, they say that each Imam comes to the world bearing 4 different kinds of light, and each light has 7 degrees, equaling 28. According to the Shiite tradition, if it were not for the occulted 12th Imam, the world would fall apart. This is due to the belief that the 12th Imam holds the axis of the world. This is an interesting point to consider in light of the circumpolar rainbow bridge. Seen symbolically, it is this occult spiritual knowledge that maintains the world order. Without the role of the Imams in maintaining the spiritual axis of our world, there would be absolute chaos and the world would have been destroyed a long time ago. This information is also interesting in light of a potential pole shift. In the tradition of the 12 Imams, 11 are known and 1 is in occultation. No name is given to this one, though he is believed to have been born in 869 Christian calendar on the day 15 Shaban, the 8th moon of the lunar calendar. Note that in the Sunnah tradition the date 15 Shaban marks the day when Muhammad supposedly presents the record of all births and deaths that were to occur in the next year. The 12th Imam appeared early during the 11th Baktun of the Holy Wars, AD 830 to 1224. For this reason, the 12th Imam went into occultation and supposedly remains alive, at least in the 4th dimension, until the end of time. It is believed that he will appear as the Mahdi, or the manifestation of the 12th Imam, to close the Eon. The cube is derived from the foundation of the plan of the throne of God as a two-dimensional square made three-dimensional into a cube. The cube represents the form of self-perfection, making the Qibla of the Kaaba the center of the cosmos. The cube maintains symmetrical perfection and remains constant throughout the whole scales. It always has 6 sides that are equidistant from an invisible center point. The Kaaba is a perfect geomantic anchor that encompasses a complete cosmology. It is also a template or model of the potential of the universal cube as a holder or carrier of different systems of knowledge. The 4 corners of the Kaaba represent the 4 prophets: Moses, Abraham, Jesus, and Noah. In the Shiite tradition, on the 4 upper corners, there is Muhammad followed by the first 3 Imams. There are stones placed at each corner, representing physical places on earth, with the most significant one being the Black Stone. Above the Black Stone is the place of universal intelligence, and above the other 3 corners are the universal soul, nature, and matter. There is a whole cosmology of the universal cube, and the cube of the universe. The symbolism of the cube relates to the human going toward the self-perfection of his or her own divine nature, the yoga of self-perfection. In this sense, the cube is eternal. It has no history. The eternal cube represents the divine religion that will never perish as long as the temple of the Kaaba endures, as prophesied by the 8th Imam. In this sense, the cube signifies a structure of 4th-dimensional intelligence that is projected into our mind that symbolically epitomizes our journey to self-perfection. Its prototype is the Al-Bayt ul-Mamur, the house of Allah, above the 7th heaven. As the form of the Al-Bayt ul-Mamur, the cube correlates to systems of divine knowledge. For example, the cube with its 8 opposite corners can represent the 8 triplets of the I Ching. The time triplet is at the upper left with the moon triplet, and the space triplet is at the upper right with the sun triplet. The other 4 corners represent the sensible world: thunder, mountain, stillness, lake, and wind. These 8 triplets, in all of their permutations, create the 64 codons. The 6 lines of the codon also fit the 6 sides of the cube in a process called cubing the codon. The origin of the cube, Kaaba, goes back to the template of the original throne of God. This throne is seen in a form like a diamond or a square, much like the Hunabku 21 and the 4 gates of light: red, green, yellow, and white. These are the colors of the 4 gates of light of the throne of God. It is divided into 2 parts: beginning and esoteric, and ending of things and exoteric. The throne of God manifests at the beginning and end. Exoteric is revealed knowledge, and esoteric is hidden knowledge. These four gates of light form a square. When this square is projected, it forms a foundation of the cube. The four pillars of the cube create an upper part that signifies the fourth dimensional world, the supersensible, while the lower part of the cube is the sensible realm signifying the third dimensional world. There are 8 supports to the throne. The cube has 8 corners which signify these supports. As the visual form of the law of time, the cube first appeared to Valumbotan as a galactic time atom cube, composed of 4 nested tetrahedra, red, white, blue, and yellow. Within this tetrahedra, there is a perfectly blue corner where the 3 blues meet, and a perfect red corner where the 3 reds meet, and likewise for the white and yellow. These are similar to the light gates of the throne. Not long after the time atom cube revealed itself, came the perception of the imploded cube containing 3 internal planes: plane of mind, plane of will, and plane of spirit. This time atom cube was perceived as an explosion of these planes. This occurred on Resonant 15, 24th of January 1991. The cube has 6 sides: top and bottom, left and right, and front and back. The top and bottom planes are created by the horizontal plane that cuts across the center. The 2 sides, left and right, are created from a plane at the center that is perpendicular to the horizontal plane. The front and back sides are created by another plane perpendicular to the plane that creates the left and right sides. The locus of consciousness, or the center of creation, is at the center where these 3 planes meet: plane of mind, top and bottom, plane of will, left and right, and plane of spirit, front and back. Number is a dimension unto itself. 6 is actually the value of the cube. The plane of mind is space, the plane of spirit is time, the plane of will is number, and the point at the center is the plane of transcendence, which is the throne of God. Each of the planes has 2 sides, for a total of 6 sides of the cube. Space represents matter, time represents energy, number represents measure, cube represents consciousness. Space becomes quantity measure, time becomes telepathy. Each plane is 1 dimension, corresponding to the 6 dimensions of consciousness and the 6 days of creation. So the cube is the perfect form of creation, and is the manifestation of the base triplet, which is the same as the binary triplet. The cube has 6 sides and 8 vertices, which is the galactic harmonic or the octave. 6 plus the center point is 0 or 7, the throne of God. If you add the 8 vertices plus the 1 in the center, you get 9. Each plane or face has 4 edges, for a total of 12. So there are 12 edges, 6 faces, and 1 center point, which totals 19. The 12 edges plus 1 center equals 13.